So may we start?
We may.
Hello. We are going to be talking about Annette today.
That we are.
I am very excited to talk about this movie. I would like to start this off by saying the first half of this is going to be non-spoiler, and then we're going to get into spoiler town because you have to talk about this movie in the way that I want to.
Yes.
So we will warn you when spoiler town is coming, but he went into this movie blind.
Very blind.
I did the trailer reactions. So when he informed me as we were on the way to the theater that he had no idea what we were getting into,
the look of fear on your face was palpable.
Was so scared because I had months to prepare myself for what I knew I was getting into with this movie. So what did you think? How did you feel about this? I would like to hear your account of what you were going through as someone who didn't know what to expect walking into it, because it's a completely different experience than I had.
So, just if you know nothing about this movie, turn this review off and go on Amazon right now and watch it.
Yeah,
that's literally all. Because if you can go in blind, do it.
Yeah, it's
worth going in blind if you can, because it's something that you are not expecting. I knew one thing about this movie, and that was the famous thing about this movie, and that's that Adam Driver auditions for Batman.
Yes.
So that was the only thing I knew about this movie.
Yeah.
And that Adam Driver and Marion Cotillard were in it, and I'd heard that Sparks do songs.
Yeah.
I did not know it was a musical, did not know that it was a musical at all. And I just figured when Sparks do songs, it was like they're doing the soundtrack. Not
for sure.
They're writing the songs for this musical.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a shock when suddenly it opens and they're singing, and I went, okay, is this just the opening? No, no, this is a full-on music. Oh, okay, cool. All right, so that's what you're doing. So that was a bit of a shock, but once I'd clicked into what they were doing, which is a fantasy music, an operatic fantasy musical about celebrity life in LA, I was completely 1000% on board, and I thoroughly loved this movie. This is a fantastic movie. Easily one of the best movies of the year. You have to see it. It is absolutely sensational in how it presents its story and how it deconstructs this life that this couple is going through and presents it in a way that you're not expecting and is completely original.
Yeah. It's very unapologetic about what it's doing.
Yep.
You have to buy in to what it's trying to sell you, because if you don't, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
It's a very bold film.
Mm-hmm.
It makes very strong, strange choices.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't like them, it's going to be hard for you to get into the film.
Yes.
But it is fantasy.
It
is operatic in the sense that it has these very, like I said, bold story choices and aesthetic choices.
The reason I say operatic is that there is no quiet moment. Like there is, it's very much playing for the audience in the back of the theater.
Yeah,
and that's. Every choice it makes is it's gonna reach the entire theater, and I think that's the decision that they make in the way they tell this story. Is
it has a very distinct style to it.
Yeah, and I think it absolutely works. But I do agree, you have to buy in. If you don't buy in, you're not going to like this movie. If you are expecting it to explain everything, if you're expecting it to all completely make sense, it doesn't.
And if you're expecting it to stop being abstract
and get to
any point,
it doesn't.
It's going to be tough for you.
The entire movie stays in this musical fantasy world
high art
and if that's not your type of movie, you're not going to like this.
I've seen a review that I looked at that someone retweeted, and they were like, all of the reasons you say you can't recommend it are why I'm going to.
Yeah.
So like you're either going to completely buy into the journey it wants to take you on, and you're going to go on this operatic, just high fantasy adventure kind of film that does have its low moments in terms of dark moments, but if you buy into it, it's a hell of a ride. If you don't, you're just going to find it strange and probably confusing
and probably slow.
So it definitely to me is a distinctive taste. Like you need not everyone is going to love this movie.
No, God, no. It's going to be a very divisive film, and I wouldn't be surprised if that hurts it ultimately in terms of public opinion and public reception, is that it is going to be very divisive, but I don't think there is the controversy around it enough to make it everyone has to see it to have an opinion.
I would agree. I think it's going to be a cult classic. It's going to have its niche little,
it's going to have its defenders
thing. But before we get into spoilers, is there anything else you want to touch on just from a general perspective?
Generally, performances are all incredible. I think this is arguably one of the best performances Adam Driver's ever given. I still think Marriage Story, I don't think you'll ever top, but this is one of these incredible performances. Marion Cotillard is fantastic.
She's brilliant. I'll be actually really sad if she doesn't get any recognition for it, because she's amazing.
The music is probably the best part of the movie, and that's not a slight on the movie. That's just how good the music is. The Sparks Brothers do an incredible job, and I can't wait to see it again.
And if you're someone who enjoys storytelling through the use of color, you are going to have a blast in this film. You are going to have a great time, because there's a lot of color symbolism, and it is a gorgeous film to just look at.
It is.
But we are going to jump into spoilers now, because I think this film deserves the way that I think you and I should talk about it. You kind of have to go there.
Yeah, the ending speaks of you need to be able to discuss it, and so spoilers.
Yes, so spoilers are going to be happening now. Where do you want to start?
I mean, okay, so having now gone back and watching the trailers, and the movie sets up very clearly he is going to kill her.
Yes.
I think that it does a good enough job of setting that up where it's not really a shock when it happens.
No.
It's okay, that one's coming. When Puppet Baby turns
up. Baby Annette.
That took me a minute. I'm not going to lie. That was like, what is going on with the Puppet Baby? And once I figured out what they were doing with Puppet Baby, which is, he just sees her as a puppet, as a toy, as something to make money, and so does she. And I think that was the other key.
But in vastly different ways.
In different ways, where she sees her as a puppet for his love.
Yeah, that she's not getting from him.
Whereas he sees her as a puppet at the start for the attachment he has to have to Anne.
Yeah.
And then when Anne's killed, the way he's going to make money.
Yeah.
And I thought,
because a lot of the beginning of the movie, their relationship is him looking at their careers and seeing that she's on the up and up and up and up, and she's the one that makes the money and has the acclaim in the relationship. So as soon as Anne is gone, Annette is now the stand-in for that, essentially.
And so through the whole movie, I was waiting for the scene that we got at the end of the film, which is, when's the real kid turning up? Like, I was waiting, and I was waiting for, we need to see the real kid in it. And I would have been I think the movie you could have done without, if they never showed the real kid, I could see the movie
Getting
going
away
down,
with it.
getting away
Yeah.
with it. In this person's he is just an awful human being who never saw his child as anything other than a puppet. But the fact that they didn't, I liked that, and that you got that ending and
Yeah.
the cathartic and that catharsis of she's a real child.
Yeah.
She was your child, and you have lost her.
Yeah.
And the ending of the film is what made it from a good movie to a great movie. I really enjoyed a lot of it, and I was on board. The middle sagged a little for me. It kind of slowed down a lot. I'm curious to see how I go on the second viewing.
Yeah.
Went in the middle, but the ending is what went, okay, I now get what you were trying to say, and it works. It worked really well for me.
Yeah, there's a part of the film when Henry McHenry is doing his stand-up, and all I could think the whole time was someone watched Bo Burnham, didn't understand it, and then tried to do his own version of it. Is Henry McHenry to me?
Yeah, I'm
not saying that as a critique.
No, yeah,
I was just sitting there going, this looks like someone in LA who has seen what Bo does, thinks he understands what the appeal of it is, and is now trying to kind of do that.
Yeah, like I think you definitely got this sense of, but that first scene shows enough that he is successful, that he does have a success.
No, and I'm not saying he doesn't have success.
Yeah,
I'm just saying I don't think he's clearly not on the level that Anne is in terms of talent or any sort of acclaim or empathy or like, to me, you can't put on the kind of show that Bo does without having, Henry McHenry just isn't that guy.
Yeah, and I think that line of how did you go tonight? I killed them and I saved them.
Yeah,
I think that sums up their relationship and sums up where they are in their careers. She is someone who is very much her drama and her opera of what she does every night is allowing for emotional catharsis to her audience, compared to what he's doing, which is making everyone be very upset and angry with the world and where
he's reminding them the state of what the actual
world is. And so there, I think this movie has a lot more going on it than is on the surface, and it's very much, there is a lot more underneath there, which I want to watch it again so that I can pick up some more of that stuff. But I thoroughly love this movie.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed it, the world that it set up, and then when you do get, baby Annette, and you get the puppet kind of thrown in there, which gives it to it gives it a whole nother level of this high fantasy kind of thing that we're looking at. It takes the figurative of her just being a plaything and makes it literal. And it gives you that kind of visual to really latch onto, which is such a bold, interesting choice.
It is.
But also, you get to the point where we lose Anne, and she comes out as like this demonic
kind of
thing person with her hair's all of a sudden as long as her body. She's got, almost like gills on her shoulders. And it becomes this operatic, you get this almost devilish siren kind of supernatural being that comes out of her death, which is, I thought was so cool.
Yeah, I thought the vision, the imagery was wholly original and very clever. And that's where I think this film really succeeds, is the boldness in its imagery.
I agree. And I think something I really enjoy towards the end of the film, where he has his moment of kind of remorse and grieving for what could have been if he was a different person and Anne was still around, and you get this kind of duet between the two of them, and then it stops on a dime and you see the version we have of Anne now, the deceased kind of siren supernatural version saying, oh no, it's me you're stuck with now. Like this is the version of me you live with now, which is I love that. Like I love the kind of choices that it made to do that.
Yeah, it is very good.
It's very, very good. The music is really good. Like I said, the color symbolism that is used is very good. Like clearly green is very much his color. Envy, you know, rotting essentially. Like he has a lot to do with green.
Yes.
Which is very powerfully used through the film. We haven't even talked about my boy yet. The composer.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He was great.
He was very good.
I love the role that he plays in the film because it gives us a pivotal moment of a very poignant song coming all the way back around.
Yeah.
Where, you know, it's the song that Henry and Anne shared together, but really we learn
it wasn't.
It was his song that he wrote for Anne.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. That moment to me was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
I think this movie does a really great job of being symbolically powerful while also actually having a fascinating and wholly original story.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think that it's so beautifully made and it's so committed to what it's doing. It doesn't shy away from what it wants to do visually or just from some of the big swings that it takes. And for me, they all work.
Yeah.
Like I'm really, really fascinated to watch this movie again. Get to take in some of the things I probably missed because there is a lot going on. But I would highly recommend, if you haven't seen this movie and you've still stayed through to this point, please go see it.
Yes.
Please
watch
it. If you have seen it, we would love to hear your thoughts in the comments because there's so much to unpack about this, so much to break down. If you want to find us on social media, where we've also kind of been talking about it, as well as the other films we've been watching, you can find those links in the description. We've also got our Patreon link down in the description if you want to find some exclusive content going on there. But is there anything else you'd like to leave everyone with before we shut it down?
Guys, just make sure you're checking out our bracket show every Sunday night where we're going through all of the geek movies.
All
Comic-Con movies. And it's fascinating so far.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what movies we end up with that are duking it out to win that top spot when we get a couple more weeks into this.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in to all of our reviews and reactions and our live shows. We have so much fun hanging out with everyone. It really means a lot when we have people along for the ride with us because that just adds to the kind of chaos that we're looking for, really. So thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time.
Bye.